are going to be a quick one here talking about the Truck Series at Richmond. Just going to be going through the salaries. Probably going to be talking a little bit about IRP. Actually, a lot of it about IRP. However, yet again, Pearce has blown it out of the water this week. So I'm just saying, because I got back in town, because I was out of town this entire week, or since Monday. And so I would highly suggest that you check out the Truck Series video here, the Truck Series video here. I could have swore you had one more. Is this it? That's just Richmond practice correlate. Oh, this one here. Check out the Truck Series content, man. Who else? I mean, this is nearly an hour and 30 minutes, a little bit over an hour and 30 minutes of content on the Truck Series race at Richmond. Like, who else is doing that? Okay, with much more in-depth data than you're getting from like a 600-word article on some random site, or certainly any video that I can put out right now. Because first off, yet again, I don't want to just trample over everything that Pearce has gone over. It's not a good use of time for me to repeat everything that he's just said, you know. So check out those 3 videos. I'm dead serious. I'll put them in the comments as I've been doing the past couple weeks here. But let's go ahead and talk about the Truck Series real quick and these guys this weekend. Clearly, Nemechek's going to be a competitor. When we look at Zane Smith and we look at the situation that he was in last time at IRP, or this previous race, practice, looked ish. Qualified 21st, okay? We knew that he would gain at least 10 positions, but I'll even show you. My view, and this is where I base Zane Smith at. We got to remember that this Richmond race is 250 laps. That's a lot of laps for these truckers, all right? I can't wait for MW to say truckers again. It just makes me very happy. And I viewed Zane Smith as being stuck around like 10th to 9th. It's going to be difficult to pass up through the field without yellows. And what happens with Zane Smith? And he basically does that. Sure, he was highly owned. And the main debacle and the main debate that we had was, do you play Zane Smith or Nemechek? Okay, that was the main deciding factor. Some people went with both, but most lineups went one or the other, assuming that Zane Smith would get back up there. I am with Pearce, and I am with the opinion that Zane Smith is great at intermediate tracks. The team is great at intermediate tracks. However, KBM is the big dog, and what happens here, and that what helps Zane Smith out is, let's kind of follow him throughout this race if I can get this. We're assuming that he's going to at least drive up to 10th, and that's where he runs. Okay, we're 60 laps in, 2 cautions in, he's running 9th. We get yellows at the end of a stage, and we're looking at where he's running, and we're seeing that he's running around 8th to 7th. Okay, he's there. He's not running a ton of fast laps here. That is still the KBM guys until he just comes out of nowhere, and where is it? It is, pretty sure it was Chandler Smith. So Chandler Smith is right behind Nemechek, just right behind, doing well, racing hard. Boy, we are racing extremely hard. And then for whatever reason, Zane Smith just clobbers, just absolutely punts, because Zane Smith is right here. He just fucking throws Chandler Smith into the wall. I couldn't believe it. Zane Smith was just racing just to not care in this race. Okay, so that took out Chandler Smith. And the build that was hurting Zane Smith is because you had to pay up for Zane Smith here. The main build that was going against Zane Smith here was either a Nemechek build, a Nemechek and Chandler Smith type of build. And the reason I'm saying this is because this optimal line changed a lot. I don't know if you guys watch the live scoring. And I'm on the side of the fence that I think you should. Now, if you're watching it to see your money go up, I think that's kind of stupid. I think you should be watching where certain lineups are, your lineups as well, but where certain lineups are, certain builds are relative to what the race is doing at the time. Okay, I think that is a great way to understand how races play out, what type of builds play out, and what situations they would play out in. And I think this is the part that debuckles the entire race, that changes the entire optimal lineup and the entire way that this race plays out, is when Zane Smith's body slams Chandler Smith into the wall for no reason whatsoever, because I believe Chandler Smith was going to be optimal in this race. And looking at how the scoring was at the time, it was neck and neck between a Zane Smith line and a John Nemechek line, and they were battling head to head. It was very much a situation where it was hard for both of them to be in. One of them had to be moved out. or we'd get a lot of punt plays coming in. At the time of this incident at 118, we are not seeing a bunch of punt plays. Oh, no, boy. Oh, it froze. I need to freeze this, actually. I need to freeze. I don't remember. Freeze up to column. Let's get that there. So Zane. What was that? 118. Yeah. So we're right here, and so at the point at 118, we're gonna say 118 at the point of no return. I'm gonna say, and let me make sure this is the light. This is the correct lap. Yeah, it was that lap. And for, let me just make sure it is sorted by finishing position because I will sort it back. We just came out of a yellow from the Nemechek spin. Oops, wrong way. Let me move this. So a lot of people at the bottom of the value range will be a little bit moved over. Just because some people did pit here and some people stayed out and some people moved forward. And then this was a gigantic gaggle of cars at this point in the race. However, with this race playing out, and look, I understand some people don't like when I do this either, when I say, well, the optimal line at this point in the race was this. Yes, I understand that the race does not end on lap 118. However, this was a point in the race to where the race wasn't getting stupid by this point. I understand Nemechek spun out, but nobody was wrecking people, at least a gigantic amount of it. And Chandler Smith was a pinnacle piece in the lineups up to this point here, due to the fact that he was scraping off some fast laps from Nemechek, and he was putting himself in a position to at least be up there contending. Anyway, the reason I'm talking about this is because with this race going green, and we can even argue this at this point in the race here before we get the yellow with Hocevar turning Howard, is this optimal line is drastically different than the optimal line that gets here, and it's drastically different than the optimal line right here. And the reason I'm saying that is because when we're building lines, let's take a look at the people who were running in certain positions. So like Lane Riggs, for example. I talked him up. I think he came in very low owned. And I got a lot of comments and a lot of tweets and DMs talking about, man, what a great play, good choice. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. But I think Lane Riggs raced this very similar to how Jesse Little raced it. And Pearce has talked about, I talked about as well, is the guys who were just there to finish the races, not make a name for themselves. And that's what I specifically talked about Lane Riggs saying. Look, the kid has experience. Okay, he knows what he's doing. He understands he's not going to make a splash, in his first few races. He's not here to make a name for himself. He's the son of Scott Riggs. He doesn't need to make a name for himself. Okay, people already know who he is, and if he races smart, he'll be here a long time. He takes care of the car, but he's not optimal at this point. Jesse Little, I believe he is because he's so cheap. But let's look at where everybody else is running in terms of the back markers, because this is where it gets big. This is where it gets huge. So clearly, Reum was having trouble. Chad Chastain is not a Chad. He's very much a beta male at this point. He's not a Chad. He just doesn't have the speed. He's very slow. Chris Wright is no longer with Nice, so we don't have to worry about that. But these are two Nice machines back here. Then we got a GMS of Jack Wood, which I told you, I called it again. I told you Jack Wood would wreck because he's just terrible at IRP. He's a terrible driver. These are difficult tracks. Anyway, and we're looking through Timmy Hill just trying to survive. Haley Deegan struggles a bit, actually running mid-20s due to her opinion right here. She's running 25th. But Jesse Little, looking like he's going to at least be smart. Chase Purdy, I got to give him credit for running, 24th. I know it was 21st right there, but Chase Purdy, really maintain a running position wherever he's coming out of pit road, and that's going to be probably mid-20s and stuff. Blaine Perkins, running good, okay? This was a track. I mean, he did finish 26th, but this was a track for the most part. He got really, really screwed over at the end of this race by these yellows here. Before that, Blaine Perkins was a mid-20th place driver, okay? Anyway, moving up here, De Benedetto, about where we expect him to be. Kaz Gralla up forward due to the fact that he stayed out here. Wallace Allen, 21st. Anyway, the reason I'm running here is because this was a gigantic change in the race. When Zane Smith just, for no reason, kills Chandler Smith's machine. Oh yeah, the point of this being is that we have 250 laps in this race, okay? We need the lap leaders. This is most likely a situation at this Richmond race where we do see multiple yellows, okay? Not just the stage breaks. We're going to see people, some of them pit, some of them don't. I would lean towards building a race that has 2 to 3 lap leaders in the trucks. I understand that we don't normally see that many leaders here, but 250 laps at a truck race at Richmond that I would honestly project to have a lot of wrecks and a lot of people getting stupid, because we've seen that before at Richmond. This might be a situation where they just wreck more than normal. I would not be shocked by that, okay? And so I'm going to elevate the bottom tier and the bottom of the salaries in this race. I want to not bottom up, but like the guy starting DFL, like I understand, like look, Reum is going to do actually the people in this race. I'll look at it in a second. Either way, I would elevate the guys starting last to gain at least 6-7 positions. Okay, that's just how I think it is. If you got a good car, good driver in the back that isn't like a AAA team or not AAA team. Like, clearly, if it's a good team in the back with place differential upside, you would play him. But, like, say if it's somebody like Jesse Little, Austin Wayne Self, Timmy Hill, someone like that starting near last, I would clearly give them, like, 11 positions. Because not only are they going to be smart and survive in this race, but they're also just going to have the speed to run mid-20s and things like that. And so that's mainly why I'm looking here. And I actually should be looking right before this yellow comes out, because that's really how the race was truly playing out before we ended up getting that yellow here. So let's go ahead and look at 105 where everybody is. And I think this is a really good indication of where everybody is. It's late into a run, right before a stage, and the place that we're really looking at are these guys in the back. You know? So, as I said, Jesse Little, Haley Deegan's actually doing pretty stellar. Compared to what we would expect. Blaine Perkins running good. We've seen Tanner Gray and Taylor Gray running well. I need to realize that, look, these guys are going to run better on a short track. I just need to realize that. Any surprises in here? Colby Howard, as we saw, he got spun by Hocevar late in the race, but he's going to be there as well. This situation where I believe this run is a good indication of where a lot of these teams are going to end up being in this event. Let's go ahead and continue a bit farther on. Let's follow Zane Smith's Carnage. And when we look at Zane Smith, he kills 2 drivers here in this race. Let me pause the video right quick. Sorry. All right, so late in this race, Nemechek is running right with Zane Smith, and then for whatever reason, Zane Smith just decides to kill Nemechek as well. I don't know why. I understand Hocevar did a dumb thing, and he wrecked the field, and by all means, let's bully people. I don't mind it. Let's go. However, why is Zane Smith not getting a bunch of hate mail? The man took out 2 cars. The man self-cleared himself twice, and he wasn't cleared and put 2 people on the wall. So yet again, that changes it because it gives place differential to people who most likely wouldn't have had that many positions there. So like Lane Riggs is a benefactor of that. Tyler Ankrum is a benefactor of that. And those are the people who take advantage there. We can also see how much a lot of these people change positions late in this race. Like Jesse Little, yet again, running mid-20s, stays out here because he's able to avoid carnage, ends up finishing top 15. Timmy Hill gains a lot of positions here. Timmy Hill, Jesse Little, Austin Wayne Self, these people are long race plays, okay? We understand that their chance to shine is in the last 10 laps. We need to realize that. You need to understand that. So when you're looking at a lot of these lines and a lot of the live scoring and based on how salary is working out for people, like specifically with Jesse Little, I believe he was $4,500. But let me bring up the optimal real quick. When we look at the optimal from IRP and see the amount of people who could have made it in and didn't get in because they just weren't able to get to, like, look at this. Nemechek is bumped out at the very end of this race. Nemechek was optimal all day until Zane Smith comes in and Fat Bottom Girls moves himself out of his way, just puts him into the wall. And so Nemechek gets bumped out as an expensive driver. That now pretty much forces Zane Smith in. It was Zane Smith or Nemechek all day long. Why are so many people calling me? I never have this many phone calls. I've been on the phone like all day. Give me a moment, please. I do apologize. All right. I yet again don't remember where I was at. I think I was talking about Nemechek getting forced out of the optimal here. But Brandon, you're doing a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda. I want some picks. I'm giving you the picks. The picks was Nemechek until 4 to go. Actually, 2 to go in the IRP race. He bumps Zane Smith, moves him out of the way, and bumps him out of the optimal line. Okay, how does lineup construction change? It changes a lot. First off, it's very difficult to get Zane Smith and Nemechek in the same line here because Zane is primarily coming from a place differential play. Yes, sure, he does have some fast laps. However, he's just a place differential play here. If you saw him anything but that, I think you're viewing it wrong. If you saw Zane Smith somebody to get fast laps led, I think you were viewing IRP wrong, and I think it's a very similar situation in Richmond this week. I think Zane Smith is not a guy that I'm looking at to lead in this race, to have fast laps in this race. I would lean it to be KBM machines. Let's see. Larry Riggs helps himself get into the optimal line late in this race, but who gets pushed out in this? When we look at the salaries and we look at how this lineup construction most likely went, the changes probably go in the 8K range and the 6K range. Let's just see where these guys are at. Stuart Friesen. Pearce has talked about him a lot. I'm going to lean on that. Just short of a 5X, okay? Gains 4 positions. Finishes 4th. However, Stuart Friesen had speed. He had a top 5 car. He was there all day. If Friesen can get a good car in practice, can get a car if he can get off sequence, which I think it has a high likelihood to. Two people that I see getting off sequence right off the bat: Stuart Friesen, Ben Rhodes. If we have a lot of yellows in second stage, third stage, I think those are the types of people gaining positions and gaining not relevance, but able to improve their position to help themselves get the lead if things get crazy. In this situation where Stuart Friesen could have been optimal depending on how this race goes. Other guys in the 8K range that most likely got moved out of this was Enfinger is clearly optimal because he wins the race. He's there. The 8K range kind of gets obliterated, I do believe. What about the 6K range? Where does the 6K range land? So Timmy Hill is pretty much right. Actually, it's very surprising that Hill at 68. Hill is most likely. It really goes 2 directions because Hill scores 40 points. Ankrum does 43. This is a very close situation where Lane Riggs and Timmy Hill are both optimal. If Ankrum doesn't gain those late positions on that final restart, I don't think Ankrum's optimal. I think it might end up being a Jesse Little, Riggs, Timmy Hill type of build with these 3 guys. And so the reason I'm saying that is I'm going to build, and you can build it 2 ways. Phone's still going off. We can build it 2 ways of looking at this race, building a lineup and building for a situation, kind of like I said, 1-8. Actually, we'll do it right here. With the race playing out the way it should, with guys running where they should, nobody's acting stupid, everybody's staying fine, or still targeting the same leading guys, but building a line that you kind of feel a bit uncomfortable with, building for a situation where we get multiple restarts, we get a lot of wrecks, we get a lot of people spinning out, and we get only 26 cars finishing on the lead lap. I think that's a really need to be aware of that possibility happening here this weekend at Richmond. Let's go ahead and dig into the Richmond boys and the Richmond salaries and stuff. We're going to go through the top end pretty fast because we should understand who to play. I think the real interesting play is going to be, under the 7K ranges and stuff. And so Nemechek, I love him. Zane Smith, I'm going to try to avoid. I would much rather chase Chandler Smith. I'd rather chase Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Ben Rhodes, and Enfinger Friesen over Zane Smith. Okay, Hocevar going to be aggressive. High likelihood of doing something stupid again. The Hat Man is turning into Bubba Wallace, to where they're just emotional men. What happened to men? Just kidding, I'm not going that direction. But you know what I mean, man. These guys are Hocevar is legit This is where names are made here. He is trying to make a name here, being aggressive, and now he's just turning people. Now he's just racing with his emotions on his sleeve. He just wants to make his mama happy. He just wants to win, and then, he was close to winning, and then Ryan Pearce was so mean to Hocevar. Hocevar just couldn't come back from that, man. Ryan Pearce bullied Hocevar, and then everybody bullied Hocevar on Twitter. Like, you guys are just being too mean. Stop texting me. Fuck, I just want to have 5 minutes. That's why a lot of people ask me why I have my notifications off on my phone. Because I would love to just go throughout a day without people texting me for 7 seconds, man. And not like business, like Pearce, text me. Close family members, go ahead and text me. But I would love to not have this thing go off every 2 seconds. So yeah, Hocevar, I don't know the suicide prevention hotline, but you might want to find it. Crafton not going to be interested. Tyler Ingram can very easily be a guy who can have 10 place differential points, start inside the teams, and things get crazy like it happened at IRP. He can be very much contention. Kraus, I would say so. Matt DiBenedetto, probably in the same boat. The 8K range is primarily based on where they qualify, and I hate to answer it that way, but that's really is. From Crafton to Chase Purdy, based on where they qualified. I don't trust Kaz Grala. I think he gets up just being stuck around 19th to 22nd. Don't think we could see much from there. I like Colby Howard at 74. I'm fine with that. I like Austin Wayne Smith, 72. I'm fine with that. Raja Caruth in the Spires Motorsports 7 machine, $7,100. Could be, now, I'm going to say could be a chalk play because I've been telling you guys how he's going to perform each and every week. Now, yet again, another suicide prevention hotline. Hey, suicide prevention hotline. I know you're like a nonprofit, but would you like to sponsor me? Raja Caruth, I have no idea what he was doing, but cleared himself, took out him and, was it LeBay? I think it was LeBay or Josh Williams at Pocono. Don't remember right now. I don't know why he was doing that, but anyway, look, Raja Caruth, short track guy, understands how you race at a short track. In a great truck here for $7,000, if he can actually just get through the race and not do anything stupid and just race it to survive, he's going to be there probably around a 12th place car, $7,100. I like that. Lane Riggs, yet again, I talked him up last time at IRP, going to say the same thing again. We're going to see Lane Riggs most likely start in the back. He's most likely going to run anywhere from 30th to 25th all day. He's going to play it smart. He's going to get there. This is a car that we have seen have speed, whether it was Todd Bodine, whether it was insert other drivers who drove this car in the past. And I can't remember off the top of my head in the rest of this year. Lane Riggs, $600-$700, a bit difficult to get to, but in the same situation, I think he's going to excel in a wreck fest type of environment. Hilly Deegan, if and or but, we're going to have to see practice. Taylor Gray, if and or but. Timmy Hill, very similar to Riggs, going to be there. Play it smart. I don't see him getting involved in a wreck. He's going to play it. I don't know why I got to say play it smart. You know what I mean. Brett Holmes, I would imagine he's going to do something stupid. Jake Garcia, I imagine he's going to do something stupid. But we're going to see. The Bill McAnally cars have been extremely quick. I like him at $6,100, but I would be concerned about him doing something stupid. I'm not playing Jack Wood. Jack Wood will do something stupid. Joey Gaze, I like him at $5,900. Haven't ran in a competitive car since last year, give or take. Clearly, he was in the Rick Room Machines of the Cup Series, but in the lower series. Been a while since we've seen Joey Gaze in a competitive car. It's been a while since he's been in a competitive car. I assume that he's going to run pretty good in this Randy Young Machines. I think he's a very similar play to Jesse Little. I think he's a very similar play to... Is Little even in this race? Now I got to find these idiots here. Very similar to Spencer Boyd. Very similar to... Is it just 2 Young Motorsports cars this week? Youngs? We just have 2? Kaz Grala is another one. Okay. Very similar play to all three of those guys are very similar plays to each other. It just depends on where they start. Caden, not gonna do honey cut. Say it again. I was trying not to. Honey cut. Dean Thompson, don't trust him, not gonna do it. Spencer Boyd, fine. Chad Chastain is not a Chad, he's a beta, not playing him. Blaine Perkins, let's go. This situation to where he's not overstepping his boundaries. Let's just survive, okay? Short tracks. Blaine Perkins. This is where you grew up racing, not Richmond, but the short track era. Let's get you through that. Wallace Allen going to run 22nd all day. That's how it is. Tyler Hill going to be in a slower car. I'm worried about Tyler Hill here. However, as I said, we need to bump up the bottom of the field. A lot of cars trying to make this race at Richmond. A lot of cars not going to make the call. So we're going to lose the slower cars, which is good. There's a chance that Tyler Hill is one of those cars, but I think he'll make the race. Brendan Poole probably won't qualify. Rayum, Nick, Lights, whatever, probably not going to make the race. Norm Benning, love to see you, but probably not going to make the race. Mason Migo, Mason, whatever godforsaken name your family gave you as a last name. 96 car. What on earth? What in the goddamn? What is this? What is going on? I could have swore I looked through the entry list this morning. I didn't even see. All right, real-time reaction to the 96 car. And wow, my voice cracked there. That was embarrassing. Running a 51 late model at Hickory. What the fuck is this? Who the heck? Yeah, okay. What an interesting fellow. What an interesting guy. Mason with his second career cable, Peck Motorsports. Am I going insane? What the heck is going on here? All right, let's go ahead and find out who. I could have swore I've looked at Peck Motorsports before, but I just don't remember. I know they tried to qualify earlier in the year. Where did they try and qualify earlier in the year? He started Gateway. Else from Florida. He used TikTok to carry his to go up the. He uses TikTok. We got an influencer, another influencer here. Peck Motorsports has competed. That's why they sound familiar. They've done 15 events since 2011, all with Todd Peck behind the wheel. Last locked into the NASCAR. They haven't started since 2017. Okay, and I haven't seen them this year. I recognize Todd Peck. I do not recognize. So, I'm going to pause this real quick, see if I can find out where this truck is from. Okay, well, I can't figure out where this truck is. I can, however, realize why I saw the truck being familiar, or at least his old trucks being familiar, because these are the trucks that Dawson Cram was using. So, Dawson Cram bought Todd Peck's cars, 2019, 2020, 2021, whenever DK Cram, I don't remember where he started. That's not the point. The point is that's where Dawson Cram got his cars from. I don't believe Peck bought those back. I want to see the practice times. Can't figure out where this truck is from or what the equipment is. Clearly, it's not going to be a competitive truck, but it can certainly have speed depending on where they got it from. Continuing on. Actually, not Todd Peck, but Mason Mig. I have no clue how to pronounce that last name. Migo. I feel like I'm insulting the guy. Trey Hutchins, not going to do it. I don't want to play Trey Hutchins. The man is very slow. I do not want to deal with Trey Hutchins. And then Justin is going to be based on practice time alone. And I would not be shocked to see two of these guys, not like Peck or Carroll, but I would not be shocked to see one of these bottom punts for under 5,000. Actually, let me change it. I would not be shocked to see three people from 6,700 down make the optimal line due to the fact that you can try and jam in all the lap leaders or all the good place differential play or all the good cars that offer high place differential plays. That's why I want. Dude, my hair looks insane. I look crazy. Why didn't you guys tell me that? What am I doing? Anyway, that's kind of my look at the truck series at Richmond. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you guys in the live shows this week. If you want to support me, support Pearce, support the work we do. BrandonCruzDFS on Patreon, so you can support us there, and I will see you guys later.